right, y'all. This one is titled "Not Everyone Needs a Podcast." Let's get into it.
Look, I'm gonna be the one to say it. Just because you have one good conversation with your homies, that does not mean that you need to start a podcast. I'm tired of dudes talking about aliens once, then thinking that they have the right to buy a Shure SM7B from Best Buy. Now they got a
Hold on, let the best mic. Okay.
Podcast called Alien Talks that's just uninteresting and dry. The host sucks, the friends suck, and even the podcast name sucks. You're not the next Joe Rogan, bro. Put the mic down and put the fries in the bag. Someone's gotta say it. Remember that one relative that told you that you weren't making it to the NBA when you were like 5 years old? Just think of me as that. Hey.
You just call him a relative? Is it not relative? Guys, is it relative or relative? I don't know.
Hey, everyone needs a little bit of tough love in their life. Not everyone can be nice in this world. And I'm gonna be the boogeyman here saying how your podcast sucks and your friends are boring. Maybe you should think twice before you take that trip to Best Buy. See, the problem is that this world is way too nice now. And now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
This video is starting to get a little scary, I ain't gonna lie. It's first minute, he's very pessimistic.
Because I love my mom. I want her to come. I don't know if this is weird to say, but I want my mom to have flawless experiences.
How do you not know if that's weird to say? Like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to have great sexual experience. That is weird.
I want you to have that. Yeah, and I want you to have that as well. So it's like, is that weird to say? Really, like, I genuinely want my mom to be getting...
Guys, whoa, what was you about to say?
Sound good.
I'm gonna give you some tough love right here. Yeah, you know, this is gonna be the toughest love that you've ever felt. Bro. This love is gonna be tougher than a well-done steak. You need to stop podcasting, bro. I'm sorry. Never in my life.
At first, I thought he was just being a dickhead, bro, but if it's more shit like that, yeah, GG's, bro.
Have I ever thought about my mom having good sexual experiences? Y'all are just odd human beings. What even sparks this conversation? Like, how do you even get to this point? And why was this video even uploaded to the masses, bro? We need to start telling people no more often. You know what, man? I'm thinking about starting a podcast. No, bro, put the mic down. At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from a gun store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy. Because
that's not insane. That's not insane.
I promise you, if there were background checks for mics, we would be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a podcast nowadays. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. NBA players, rappers, children. The Hawk Tua girl just started a podcast called Talk Tua. Don't get me wrong, shout out to her for running up a bag off that one phrase, you know? Seriously. I saw that she got 30K for popping out to a club a few weeks ago, like kudos.
Nigga, what? She got 30K just to show up? What am I? Talk to me. Talk to me. What am I doing? What? You know? I'm not there yet. You're right. You take it. Yes, take your time. Take my time. I hear you. Take my time. I'll get there. I hear you.
Close to her, you know? I'm gonna clap it up for her. But why would I want to hear that woman speak for 2 hours straight each week about current events in her life? I mean, for crying out loud, she got famous for talking about how she spits on the pee-pee. Why am I supposed to care about what this woman has to say? Does she really need a podcast for saying "Hawk Tua" and spit on that thing? You get me? The world could go without a podcast from this woman. You know what? Maybe I'm just hating. You know, maybe why don't I just check out one episode?
Can't do it as good as him.
Do it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
You gotta put like an emphasis on it, like "tuh." You know, like really. Yeah. Say it. All right, all together.
Hot to.
I feel like my ears is being violated right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Hot
to. Hot to.
Say it aggressive, like
hot
really.
After watching one episode of the Talk to a podcast, I wanted to announce that I am quitting YouTube and becoming a full-time neurosurgeon, astronaut, and monk, all because of this podcast. This is one of the...
I wonder what kind of numbers she pull in. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I really don't care. I'm not like, you know, doing one of those deals, but I actually want to see like how many people are genuinely watching her.
Most enlightening podcasts that I have ever watched. And I just wanted to say thank you, Hawk Tua girl, for opening my third eye and helping me evolve as a human being with your phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate you. All jokes aside, no hate to her. She's just capitalizing off her opportunity like any other human being would in her position. But overall, I just don't think there's anything really interesting about this woman that sets her apart from all these other podcasts out there. Yeah, she may be able to get some great guests on there because the podcast is connected to Better, which is a sports media company co-owned by Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, like the guests can only carry her so far, you know? Like I said, there's not much interesting about this.
But wouldn't that be isn't that kind of like the point of it in and of itself, right? To see who you could get on there, and then, you know, kind of match experiences, or like talk about the differences in experiences, stuff like that. Wasn't that like? I don't want to say that is what the podcast is about ultimately, but isn't that a big bulk of it? I mean, you gotta have like, you know, like even with this, like you gotta have like your own piece to add to it, right? So she has her own shit that she talks about. I guess that's what he's saying. Like the shit that she talks about when she's alone, or even what she brings to like the guests' conversation, it isn't really much. But even people could even say the same thing with this. Like, even though I give my opinions on what they say, right? People may still say, oh, you know, it's not, you're not doing it right. It's someone else doing it. I don't know. I think it's a jump ball.
This woman, she got famous
because she could be bad by herself, but good conversationally. You see that?
For saying how she spits on the nutsack. You feel me? But like I said, she's just capitalizing.
That's not what I wanted to unpause on.
Off a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Podcasts, after all, aren't the hardest thing to do. Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start, but hard to master. The bare minimum is to get a few mics, sit down with some friends, record, chat for a little bit, and boom, you got a podcast. Like, it's not that hard. And if you already have an audience, it makes creating a podcast even easier. Because if the audience you've garnered cares to watch you for like maybe a few seconds or a few minutes each day, they'll for sure listen to you talk for about 2 hours each week. So it makes sense to why so many people are starting podcasts nowadays. But like the title says, not everyone needs one. While some of them are good, some just feel like people talking just to talk. Like, I wouldn't even call some people's podcast a podcast. I'd rather call it mic terrorism. The other day, I saw a podcast clip of two dudes talking about lefty loosey, righty tighty being the greatest invention of all time.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty is the craziest invention of man. I use that all the time. The saying lefty loosey, righty tighty. We just got a new machine. Okay.
I feel like I see where he's going, bro. But like, I'm trying to give grace here, bro. But he low key spin. He low key spin, bro. Some of this, but I don't think not every fucking talk is gonna hit, bro. Not every podcast episode is gonna be really impactful. Like they could say a lot of impactful shit. This could just be one that they didn't have anything to really talk about. You get me? Does that make sense? You agree?
It's like it's called an articulating log loader.
Yeah, what?
It sounds like my toilet paper.
Yeah.
There's forks like this that picks up a log, and then it can open and close on it, and the left button opens it and the right button closes it. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, lefty loosey, righty tighty, when I need to let go or grab on. It's the lefty loosey. I might get that tattooed on myself.
Like, no offense to these two dudes at all, because they're probably great people. I could probably sit down, chop it up with them, eat a steak, and just vibe out with these dudes. But there's got to be something way more interesting to talk about than a saying used for when you're screwing something in. Like, what's next? Are we gonna talk about bunny ears being the best method to tie your shoes, or maybe even schist being the best rock there is? This conversation just feels so bland and pointless. Like, if an alien were to imagine two human beings talking, I'm pretty sure it'd think of this AI generated ass convo right here. Like, this is the product of podcasts being so easy to start up. We now have dudes talking about screwing mechanisms as a topic of interest. Like, I don't think every conversation has to be important in a podcast, but there's no way that these dudes...
Okay, see, that's what I was alluding to. Like, does he think every conversation has to be like a home run?
Copped some premium podcast mics, got the setup and everything just to talk about lefty loosey, righty tighty. This podcast just has no meaning at all. It's just yip and yap going back and forth about nothing. I swear these podcasts just get worse and worse, bro. Like, there's just too many podcasts now, and what more is there really to talk about? We gotta sit here and like just think for a second. What more is there really to talk about? Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real. Like, is there really a need for a podcast where frat dudes talk about Hawk Tuah?
Bro, I don't know if you heard of the Hawk Tuah girl.
All right, see, this is that. I know where this is going, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
Spit on that thing.
Bro, that blew out of proportion. Like, I low-key think it got too big.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen the clip, but good for her, I guess. I don't know.
No, like, it's everywhere. Dude, even at, like, Old Town, you'll hear Hawk Tuah remixes.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to see the issue. I think I figured it out. Maybe it's that they aren't really engaged in conversation. Maybe it's just that it's like two statements It's not really an open ended conversation. There's like two statements just going like back and forth. There's not really no like. There's no opportunity to like merge and flow in and actually have an engaging conversation. If that's the criteria he's going with, that makes complete sense. I
think it's crazy that you can like.
This is like oh, did you see the red cup? Yeah, I seen the red cup. Would you drink out the red cup? I drank this. There's like no. It's
one
terrible.
little
It's
thing,
terrible.
and
I
a
get
clip
it,
can
though.
go viral, and then all of a sudden the next day you're like a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yo, this guy in the comment section even gets it. This man said podcast equipment should cost $1 billion. I totally agree. I'm not gonna lie, like no offense to these dudes, probably some great people, but I'd rather drag my balls through the hot Sahara desert than listen to these frat dudes talk for 2 hours straight. You best believe I'm serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a podcast for 2 hours. Like this podcast is just drier than a Popeye's biscuit. There is no energy at all to this conversation. And you may be thinking like, bro, you can't judge off of just one clip of the podcast, This is every clip.
What is your favorite frat?
I don't know. I like how big SAE's parties are and like Lambda, but like I think ASIG just threw a really cool party. So
I heard, dude.
Yeah.
Kyle was just on it. He's an ASIG.
Yeah. It was a really good party.
Okay. Tips to starting a podcast. Apparently, this is from what he's saying. His failed podcast. This is what I think his idea, or even my idea for a successful podcast is, bro. Not everything has to be a home run, but make sure each conversation is engaging, and you're actually in the conversation. You're not like making statements. You're actually talking. You're making points and ideas, and not just statement. Okay. Be natural. Let it be natural. Don't make it look forced. A lot of this stuff that he's showing right now, it looks forced, bro. Just keep it flowing. Make it engaging. That seems like the two things you need. It needs to flow well. It needs to be engaging. Flow, engage. Flow, engage. And you'll be alright.
This podcast just sucks. This convo just sounds so generic and bland. No energy at all. Just, what?
And have energy. I muted it again, bro.
I like SAA. They're bag. Oh my god, I heard Kyle's there. Like, get this off the airways, bruh. Like, what did Joe Budden say?
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
I genuinely wish I could take back the few seconds of my life I wasted watching that podcast clip, because now I just feel 10x dumber than what I was before. I feel like one of the keys to a great podcast is an entertaining host, because there's gonna be boring parts to a podcast, and it's up to the host to make that podcast interesting when it's getting dry. But the problem with this podcast is that the host has the personality of a raw chicken wing. So when he talks about,
I didn't even know he was the fucking host. I thought he was like
boring topics, and he's also boring. That just makes the podcast,
which either way, both them niggas was boring, but
podcast 10 times more boring. Another problem with everyone starting a podcast is that some people don't believe that they need to do proper research before they record. Like a little bit ago on Twitch, there was this streamer named Jason the Ween who hit 100,000 subscribers. He was number 2 on Twitch for his amount of subscribers in that month. And then there was this shitty TikTok podcast called the 949 Podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. Called the 949.
They had a lot of. They're doing some work.
9 Podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. And no, they're not really knowledgeable when it comes to this whole streaming space. So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave.
It is.
Yeah. It's just, but the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Wait, what's the new wave? I didn't hear him.
So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just, but the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Like Jason the Ween, guess how many live viewers he has? Just guess.
Depends on the time.
Just guess.
Like
you guys
5K?
guess. Well, how many live viewers do you think he got?
Like 3K?
3K? So like he's like a number 2, or I guess like, well, he has like around 15 to 20.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty good.
But to think about it, like, that's not that good in terms of like views.
That's true, but like live.
I ain't gonna lie. One, he dick eating in front of hoes. He dick eating in front of hoes, bro. He like that's you. Why you slamming him for doing something that y'all clearly don't do, bro? Like, come on now, let's keep it a stack. He made an accomplishment, bro. Applaud him for it. I ain't gonna lie, this might seem a little crazy, but y'all seem like the same ethnic background, or at least in the same ballpark. So now you even pointing out someone in your own community, bro. So like, I don't get it. Why he talking down on them?
Good for live.
That's what I'm saying. It's good for live, but
and then to be honest, the whole clip thing, bro, you can make clips out of anything, bro. This right here, this is about to be a clip, bro. And this is not from streaming. This is from recording a video, bro. So to say, I mean, streaming is the way, don't get me wrong. But to say it's because of clips, that's crazy, bro. You can make a clip out of anything, bro. You can go live on IG clip, bro. You can do a skit on anything. That's a clip, bro. You can make a clip from anything.
World? It's only 15K.
15K, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Streaming is not like a mainstream thing yet. It's only mainstream because of the clips that they put out after.
Yeah, right.
Which get millions.
I ain't gonna lie, this nigga saying a lot of nothing.
That's
my point. He's saying a lot of nothing right
But
now.
no one's actually watching that shit live.
Yeah. No, literally, bro.
There's a few things that piss me off about this Dookie TikTok podcast. Number one, this man is saying streaming is only big because of clips. Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit there and watch an 8-hour stream front to back, you idiot. So to make it more digestible for the average viewer, streamers and their audiences make clips so that more people can see their streams. What's so bad about that? Another thing this man says is 15K live viewers isn't good views because the clips get millions of views. That's how the internet works. And 15K is good because it puts him in the top 0.1% of streamers. Like, why is it surprising that a live stream has less views than a TikTok video? Are we becoming this slow in society where we can't comprehend that a live stream that you have to watch live has less views than a video where you can watch whenever? This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he has a mic in his face with the cameras on. This podcast just sounds like one huge gossip session. That's the problem with a lot of these podcasts. Some of them are just gossip sessions. Another situation of a podcast host not knowing what they're talking about is this one right here. So a little bit ago, there's a situation.
I ain't gonna lie, my man. This video, I'm loving this video, bro. But he is giving so many podcast niggas so many random strays, bro.
With Kai Cenat, right? He had a cameraman that was talking to an underage girl, and this podcast decided to put out their take on it because, hey, it was a fresh topic. Why don't we say something about it? You know, why don't we do it for the clicks and engagement? And this is what they had to say.
Kai Cenat.
Hold on. Before you even talk about it, here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think it's fair to talk about it. It depends on how you go about it, though. If you're saying like, all right, you know, I feel bad for Kai because this always happens, you know, XYZ, he's been through this, and now this is happening, boom, bam, bam. That's cool. But it could also go south. Let me see.
Everybody can't go. You need to start looking around. And I know, like, black people specifically, when you get some success, you want to bring everybody with you. But you got to be able to kind of weed that shit out. I should have known who Chris V is. I should have known who Chris Next Door is.
But Chris Next Door...
It wasn't even Chris Next... See, that's what I fucking meant. That's what I meant, bro. Uneducating yourself on the topic that you're going on to speak of. That's literally the one way this could have went bad, and that's exactly what the fuck he did.
Is literally an AMP member. What do you mean that you shouldn't know who he is?
I should know who Kai Cenat.
And then a nigga said both Chris's. Obviously, it wasn't both of them.
That is because you are the driving force in it, but them I shouldn't even know who they are.
I think it's important to highlight that Chris Next Door is an AMP member. If you guys don't know what AMP is,
oh my god! And then this dumbass, some co-hosts are fucking terrible. Him, you can tell he don't know shit, bro. He just shows up and talk, and he just reflects. That's all it is. Same thing with Fresh and Fit, bro. Fresh is a fucking donut, bro. These co-hosts are bad, bro. They just let the host come with topics. The co-hosts don't educate themselves, and they all just go online and sound fucking stupid.
That is Kai Cenat's group.
That's the problem. Kai Cenat shouldn't have a group.
Kai Cenat...
It's not even his group.
Joined the group before he became this huge mega streaming machine. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he's on a podcast.
That's how they got on.
Yeah. Having a team and making it with your team is very important. But if there are problematic people...
Okay, part 2, okay? This is how you make a successful podcast, bro. Be educated, be energetic, okay? And make sure the conversation is engaging, bro. Those are the 3 things. This is what I'm learning from this video. That's all you need, bro. That's all you need is those 3 things, bro. Engaging, do full research on the topic, bro. Be engaging, full research, and have energy, bro. Be alive. Don't be dead, bro. Nobody want to watch a zombie, bro. We watched The Walking Dead for that.
And they're kicked them out immediately.
But you gotta know when you are the one, like he is the one. I get it.
So he should abandon everybody?
Yes.
He did not do this alone. Like, there was a journey of a camp of them.
They came together.
And I agree, like, this problematic person, this person that was underage girls, he has to go. Like, bye, we're never speaking to you, cut ties.
Now that we are here and it's the second, third, however many times something like this has happened, what does he do moving forward? Because now it can't keep happening. You have to insulate yourself because at the end of the day, that group doesn't mean anything without him.
That is cap.
These niggas getting yo, bro. That's a podcast that needs to fucking stop, bro.
Because everyone actually grew themselves before they were in AMP. That's why it works so well as a group, because everyone had their own platform before joining. Except for Chris. He kind of created his platform after, but he was still pretty known. But this guy just knows nothing about what he's talking about. And this is my problem with so many of these podcasts. Like, if you're gonna put out a statement on any current topic, you gotta do the research to back it up. You're gonna end up looking like an idiot. You can't just go in willy-nilly on something that you know nothing about. That's why a lot of bigger podcasts like Joe Rogan have someone who can fact check, which is Jamie on his podcast. And if you can't afford someone to be in that spot, you should just look it up yourself.
That's a good fucking point. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that, bro. Jamie is really clutch. Joe will tell Jamie, like, yo, search this up just so I'm right.
Before you put out this idiotic take on something you know nothing about. Like, there's a difference between a hot take and just a bad and uneducated take. And this right here is what I consider an uneducated take, because he just lacks the knowledge on what he's talking about. I like how some people on the podcast are like trying to tell him, like, yo, it's not like this, it's kind of like this, but he just doesn't want to listen. He just decides to be ignorant. I swear some people just get a mic in their face and their brains just go to mush. They don't know what they're talking about. I seen a dude the other day talking about how you need to stop wearing Nike socks with shoes for no reason at all, just because he said so.
Stop wearing Nike socks with shoes, bro, or a designer shoe. Even if you wear Nike socks with some Air Force Ones, just stop doing that, bro.
I don't know. This could be like a fashion podcast. I can kind of see.
I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see nobody wear no Nike socks with a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, see, a pair of shoes is crazy.
What do your socks have to do with anything on your fit? I understand if somebody says stop wearing a Nike shirt with Adidas pants, like, that does kind of make sense, but stop wearing Nike socks with shoes? Why? Why don't you tell us why? Why? I think people got to realize it's fine to have conversations without them being recorded, you know? We need to start stripping cameras and microphones away from society. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone's voice needs to be heard. And since this is a video about podcasts, there's another thing I got to get on my chest, bro. Alpha Male Podcast. This podcast
I knew it. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was gonna skip this. But he didn't, bro.
Matt honestly just needs to retire, bro. Like, when I tell you, these podcasts are one of the worst things to ever hit the internet, because after these podcasts hit, all people would argue about is who was worse, women or men. I hate this whole argument, because can we all just agree that men do bad things and so do women? Men lie and women lie. Are we done now? Like, I hate this whole format of podcasts. But yeah, not everyone should have a podcast. Don't just think because you have one good conversation with your homie that you now need this full Joe Rogan podcast setup. No, you don't need that at all. You don't even need a podcast, bro. What you need is a muzzle. But all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. Twitch, Cameron, WAK, Discord, link in the
W fucking video, bro. W video by Cameron, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was tough.